No matter your age, your plan for retirement can start today. From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Retirement Report.
Good morning. Welcome to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. All right, I've got an interesting show on for you today. I've got so many articles that I have come across that are starting to, it's like the pieces to a puzzle. As you start putting these together, and they're from different sources, they're different in terms of the way they approach this, but they're starting to form a picture of the future a little bit, or what a potential future. And this is one of the things when I have new clients that come into my office. Many times one of the concerns they have when we're doing their planning and we're calculating in, Social Security, if they're going to have a pension, what sources are they going to have for income? Do they intend to work in retirement, as an example? What about their savings? How much have they got saved? What type of assets they have? What kind of income might we be able to take from those assets without depleting them completely during their lifetime, and all with the goal of maintaining, of course, a standard of living, quality of life, maybe adding in a little fund money now that they're going to have some time in retirement, take care of whatever family financial goals they have. All of this is going to be to this, we have to look at all these different all these different assets, all these different resources that are available. So here's where it comes in. One of the things as I've gone through this, I've come across some really interesting articles that have to do with pensions, for instance. One article, to give you an idea: America's retirement crisis grows as cities raid pension and health plans. And it's not just cities. We're seeing this as well. This is another very scary title, if you will: Hidden Disaster and New Budget, Demonic Plot to Raid Pensions. So, warning, cash-strapped feds want to tap your IRA. We're seeing things that are showing that, and there's another with regard to the Affordable Health Care Act. There's basically, they're showing a, and this is another: America's retirement crisis grows as cities raid pension and health plans. What we're seeing basically, just like you may be aware with, of course, Detroit filing bankruptcy, well, part of what has come about through that, and this goes on to other cities like Stockton, other cities in California like Riverside, San Bernardino. These are all cities, that have filed bankruptcy, Detroit being the latest big one. Chicago is one that is next on the radar to possibly file. One of the things the courts are finding is that the pensions, the promises made to these employees, are not necessarily going to be protected through this bankruptcy. And anybody that knows and watched in the private sector has seen this as well, all right, where a company can go through a bankruptcy, even a reorganization, and in doing so shed, like General Motors most recently, shed their pension obligations. All right, well, this can be really a very scary thing if you think about it. Now, there is something called the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation, which is PBGC, we refer to it. This is a kind of a pseudo-government type of agency that receives money from companies that do provide pensions. They pay into it each year, and the purpose of it is then to pay the pensions, to carry on the pensions for people that lose their pensions in situations where a company goes out of business or reorganizes through bankruptcy and is able to shed them. The problem is that they're operating more and more in the red. Okay, they're running out of money. What does that mean? They're going to need the taxpayers to step in to make good on that. What's the other part of that? The Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation does not guarantee other benefits like your health insurance if you were getting that through your employer, or life insurance, or any other benefits that could have been a part of your pension plan. Those go away. You'd still have to come up with the money to replace that. The second part, on the pension, they have caps as to how much they will pay out. So in particular for executives, or we saw this with pilots back with Eastern even, and other airlines, when they've gone out of business, they saw their pensions cut in half or even worse. All right. So there's that risk. The next part of it is, when it comes to retirement income, I one of the more common questions again, well, what about Social Security? Do you think that's going to be there? And we get into talking here, the conversation goes into that of whether Social Security will be here. I think yes. Will there be more means testing? Absolutely. And we're already seeing that. All right. Now, let me give you some examples of means testing. For instance, if you retire at age 62, and you sign up for Social Security, that is, and maybe you're going to continue to work. Well, if you make over $15,000, then for every $2 over that, you lose $1 of those Social Security benefits. And that continues until you reach your full retirement age. For many people, that may be age 66. For some that are younger, it could be up to age 67. So that means in that time frame, any earnings, and this is earnings now, I don't, if you're taking money out of a retirement account or if you have passive income, this wouldn't count. But earnings, if you continue to work, that means that would reduce your Social Security benefits, which is one of the reasons we usually advise people, if you're going to continue to work into retirement, in particular if you're going to earn over, of course, $15,000 a year, then you may want to postpone taking those Social Security benefits, one, to not have that payback, two, that they'll continue to grow and you'll get a higher amount later. Now, what's another example? Another example of means testing is taxation of your Social Security benefits. So if you're, for instance, a married couple, they take half of whatever your Social Security benefits are, then they add any other income that you have, and this time it's not just earned income, now passive income does count, investment income, taking any money out of a retirement account would count towards this formula. It's called a provisional income formula, and if you make over $32,000 when you add all that together, and if you think about it, let's say you got a couple and a combination of $30,000 a year coming in from Social Security benefits, 15 then counts towards this formula. You only need another 17,000, and now half of your Social Security benefits are going to be taxed. And if you go up to 44,000, again counting half of those Social Security benefits and withdrawals from your retirement accounts, which you probably need to supplement your income, 85% of your Social Security benefits can be taxed. So there's another means testing. In other words, the more money you make, you're going to have to pay tax on your Social Security, and the more you make, the more tax you'll have to pay on your Social Security. And of course, if you're having to pay taxes on your Social Security, net, you're going to have less of those benefits you get to keep. Here's another one, and it keeps going. This is showing the proof of where they're going with means testing. Medicare provides for you at age 65, you get Part A, which is your hospitalization benefits. However, Part B, you have to pay for. That's the outpatient part. And how much you pay as far as premiums for your Part B, and by the way, this is the same for Part D, which covers prescription. Well, what's going to determine the premium you pay is, again, how much money you make. The more money you make, the higher the premium you pay. And here's some interesting parts to that. Let's say you decided to downsize your house. So you sold a home, which you made some money on, and or an investment property even for that matter. That money counts and could cause you to have to pay a higher premium in that year. Same even with a Roth conversion. So that's why when we do Roth conversions analysis, we get into not just the impact it's going to have on federal income taxes, but how it might impact your Social Security benefits and taxation of those, and whether it might cause you to have to pay higher premiums on your Medicare's Part B and D. So this, as you can see, there's a lot of moving parts. It gets quite complex. And all of this on the means testing I want to get into a little more. I'm going to take a break here, but when I come back, one of the things I want to share with you, I've set the stage, if you will, a little bit with how means testing is being used now. I'm going to share in these articles with you what it looks like, the direction that means testing is going to go into the future. And the purpose of all this is that in the final analysis, we're going to show you some strategies here on how you can increase income to make up for the reductions that are going to be imposed upon you. All right, so learn more. Just stick around.